And on to some non-cryptocurrency news. Wolfstreet.com, Peter Dakemeyer. Haven't heard of that name before here. He's from Canada for Sprott Money. There we go. Investors are being swindled. Canadian accountants slammed. People mistakenly believe their pension plans, mutual funds, and other investments are safeguarded. Yeah, where have we heard this before? Oh, that's right. History repeating every single time. Your pensions are not safe. They were never safe. And just when you need them the most, there's a problem. We're going to have to make a deal with you. We're going to have to cut it. Sorry. Oh, you already have a lifestyle you're trying to maintain? And it was critical that you received that pension for the promised amount of time you thought you were going to get? Sorry. Sell the house, sell the farm, sell off everything, and go downsize. And then I'll channel my sister. Nobody said life was fair. But my pension was promised. Nobody said life was fair. Canada's finance minister, Bill Mornier, was one of the country's top pension fund management professionals before he went into government. Quick. Worst type of politician you ever want to go run any part of your government. Former pension manager. Oh, I wonder where this story's going. But when he recently addressed Concordia University business students, no one asked about the country's $4 trillion national debt, much of which is pension related. And that's not surprising, because as the Fraser Institute notes, nearly 3/4 of those debts are not included in the federal and provincial government's financial statements. Talk about cooking the books. That's accounting fraud. I'll put you in jail. Oh, wait, the government's doing it? Nah, never mind. So Canadians have no clue just how bad the country's true financial situation is. This lax reporting is spread throughout the system, including public companies, says one expert. Investors are being systematically swindled out of large amounts of retirement savings, says Al Rosen, a forensic accountant and co-author of Easy Prey Investors, a recently released book that details shortfalls of Canada's lax reporting standards. In other words, you can cook your books quite well and get away with it. Accounting scandals abound. Investors mistakenly believe that their pension plans, mutual funds, and other investments are safeguarded, says Rosen. In fact, they are suffering losses that are monumental compared to individual publicized scams. A key challenge, says Rosen, relates to Canada's use of international financial reporting standards, which assign excessive power and choice to corporate management, providing them the ability to inflate corporate profits. Inflate what is really the truth. Rosen cites a range of accounting scandals, including Valiant, Nortel, and Sino Forest as examples of Canadian laxness. Or if they have the laxness monster up their way. It's this big monster that lives under the lake, and it comes up and cooks the books every now and then for big corporations, and then goes back under. Every now and then people think they can capture it on camera, but as soon as you try to film it, it goes under. Just when you need to do an audit, it's gone under the damn water. Son of a gun. In one famous fraud case, Bre-X auditors couldn't be bothered to check if the company's gold mine, its only major asset, actually existed. External accountants instead essentially relied on a manager's claim that he had found gold in the core samples he presented to a valuation firm when they signed off on the statements. What is this? Bocephalus? Creative pension assumptions? Those problems aren't restricted to Canada, says Robert Med, president of Bocephalus Research Partnership, which has produced research regarding creative accounting at Alcoa, Raytheon, UPS, and a slew of other global businesses. Pension deficits continue to grow, he said. Investors have yet to focus on the detailed assumptions used by managements and how they might affect pensions solvency, valuations, and corporate strategies. Med says the assumptions about life expectancies, obligation discount rates, and forecast returns are key areas that management can adjust to legally, underfund corporate pension plans, and thus boost company earnings. In many cases, pension discount rates and forecast returns have fallen, but nowhere near enough, says Med. Med cites lax independent auditors as enablers of the inconsistencies. Given the small number of audit firms, actuarial tables, and regulations, one would assume that the assumptions used would be similar, says Med. However, there are some startling outliers, and expected returns have stayed high. Aggressive pension, expected returns have stayed high. And then the next news story, pensions fall unexpectedly. Aggressive pension accounting strategies work particularly well because they enable managers and auditors to boost short-term fees and bonuses to themselves, and to simultaneously get out of Dodge before the pension obligations become due. Isn't that amazing? Accounting lobby shields profession from litigation. According to Rosen, the 1997 Hercules Supreme Court of Canada decision essentially handed widespread legal immunity to financial statement auditors who approved misleading reports. In essence, investors are being told that they should not be using audited annual financial statements for their investment decisions. The situation is roughly similar to that of the United States, where provisions in the Private Securities Litigation Act, which was enacted under heavy pressure from the quiet but exceptionally powerful accounting lobby, also make it very hard to sue auditors, though in recent years a spate of lawsuits against U.S. auditors are attempting to reestablish a balance. Because Canadian accountants are self-regulating profession, additional blame lies with the regulators, says Rosen, but they too have been asleep at the switch. Canadian securities commissions have maintained their well-established practice of rarely investing financial statement manipulations, deferring auditors to determine what is appropriate, says Rosen. As a result, securities prosecutions have been uncommon, convictions are rare, and penalties trivial. Kind of sounds like our banking system here in America, doesn't it? Bailout, TARP funds, nobody goes to jail. MF Global, John Corzine, he stole money from private accounts that the law says you can't touch. But he did anyways from his clients, blew the money on Wall Street, lost the bet, closed up shop, and screwed everyone over. Did he go to jail? Not even. So speaking of prosecutions being uncommon, convictions rare, and penalties trivial, well, sounds like America. Mornier sets the creative accounting standard. Finance Minister Bill Mornier when asked by an alt-fin writer about Canada's accounting practices following the Concordia event, defended the government's position by pointing out that similar practices are in place in other major economies. One estimate of unfunded liabilities in the United States runs more than $200 trillion, by the way. In all fairness, Mornier inherited many of Canada's shifty accounting procedures from the conservative Harper government when the Liberals took power in 2015. That said, Mornier's expertise on this issue and his position in government make him a natural leader on the issue. By continuing to play along with those old practices, Canada's finance minister is signaling to his cabinet colleagues and to Canadian businesses that it is just fine, it's okay, continue cooking the books. Until that changes, investors had better watch out. By Peter Dakemeyer, Canada for Sprott Money. Foxes are in charge of the henhouse. Read, how solid are Canada's big banks? That was just a link they put in there. So yeah, another Western first world country, our neighbor to the north, who does what we all do, cook the books, accounting fraud, but it's not even called accounting fraud because we're self-regulating entities. And when we look at these things, we don't see fraud. We just see high rates of high expectation of performance. And we're allowed to use our expectations as like the real thing we show you. When in reality, you should be showing me the asset now and what it's worth now and what the performance has been now and up to now. Like last several years, where's it been? Not the 7 or 8% you expect, but where has it actually been? Well, 2% here, 5% there, 3% there. So way under where you would expect this thing to perform. Correct. Then why in the hell are you presenting the great news that 8%, 8%, 8% is great, And all these things, oh, they're not on the books. Remember the first part? They're not on the books. Canada's finance minister, Bill Monier, was one of the country's top pension fund manager professionals before he went into government. But when he recently addressed Concordia University business students, no one asked about the country's $4 trillion national debt, much of which is pension related. That's not surprising because, as the Fraser Institute notes, nearly 3/4 of those debts are not included in the federal and provincial government's financial statements. They just don't even exist. That is the textbook. I mean, is this not cooking the books? Let's get it off over here. Present this paperwork to the auditors. How's it look? Good. Okay, fantastic. Put it back over here. Now bring that garbage over here and put it back on the books. Oh, the auditors are back. Take it off the books. Here we go. Yeah, looks great. Oh, we got some investors, some more. We got a school system that wants to put their teachers in the pension. Oh, yeah. Well, don't show them that book. No, don't show them that book. Show them this book. This is how great we are. And we're going to get bonuses, and we're going to make a lot of money, and we deserve it because we're giving you expectations of great money for your pension until we leave with our golden parachute and your pension didn't perform and we're long gone. Then you're going to get the letters. You're going to have to contribute more to your pension. We're sorry. Sorry about that. We've tapped the taxpayers too. We asked them to pitch in a little more. Plus you're going to have to pitch in for your own pension more. And then it's time to collect your pension. And we had the taxpayers pitch in, and I was pitching in extra, and it's now my time to get my freaking pension, and I want my pension. And you're telling me it's not there, and then I'm going to have to take a freaking pay cut and pension cut. And they're going to want to kill somebody. But that's another day for another time. We're not there yet. Take care.